Was one of my favorite weeks of the summer, environmental education, where we were able to shout out Eric, who's the Foundation's education director. This picture is from Cypress Trails Elementary School, and here you have the kids demonstrating some of the adaptations of cypress trees. This is really cool for us to see because we later in the week got to participate and help Eric more actively in facilitating some of these programs. This picture is from Camp Laro out at Pine Jog Environmental Education Center, which we've visited several times this summer. And we were able to take the kids out on the trails and really get them to experience nature just as we had been doing with Dr. Tom and Eric and John all summer, really using all 5 senses and getting out there and getting curious about nature, and it was a lot of fun to see the kids out there really enjoying themselves. This little girl was so cute because she didn't want, we found a cicada that all the kids were able to put on their finger and feel the bug, and she just wouldn't want to, and finally the other kids encouraged her and she tried it. It was just really funny. They had a good time out there. I thought it was hysterical that they thought every single vine was poison ivy. But they were good. We stopped for a few minutes to catch grasshoppers just randomly, and of course they named every single one of them, so that was fun too. And here we have later in the week at Loggerhead Marine Life Center, we got to go along with Eric once again to help present some of his programs, bringing the Everglades into the classroom, especially for these kids because they're over by the beach, and what they mostly do is the marine side of it, so they didn't all know about the Everglades. And we have Caitlin and Lindsay here showing the adaptations of cypress trees, how they have, here we have the kids doing it. The girls were pretending to be pine trees, which are tall and thin, and the boys in the middle were cypress trees with the large buttress that helps stabilize them during hurricanes. And in the wetlands. Thank you for your help there. And we had a good time pretending to be the hurricane and going around and kind of pushing them a little bit, but not too much. And Amber and I had a lot of fun doing this last game, was the wood stork game, which we got to blindfold the kids and show them how wood storks are tactile feeders, and the kids could only use their hands to find little felt fish, and it was a lot of fun. This was very cool because the wood stork is actually the symbol on Art Marshall Foundation's emblem, if you've seen our polo shirts or any of the logos anywhere, and that's because it was Art Marshall's favorite bird in the Everglades. It's an indicator species that really shows that if the wood stork is doing well, that means you've got the water right. It has to have a very specific hydrology to thrive, and so this is the wood stork game. The kids had a lot of fun with it, and so did their counselors. That pretty much wraps it up for Education Week. So as we started with week 9, we realized that we had been in this internship program for a little over 2 months, and we had a little under 2 weeks left. And I promise you these last 2 weeks were just as jam-packed and just as filled and busy and exciting as the first 8 put together. The point of week 9 was Citizen Involvement Week. Something that the Marshall Foundation does is really to try to reach out to the community members, to try to reach out to the public, to get concerned, to get involved about environmental issues here in Palm Beach County and here in the state of Florida. So we started off the week by visiting Pan's Garden on Palm Beach. It's a project of the Palm Beach Preservation Foundation, and we're fortunate enough as the Marshall Foundation to be a partner of that organization. And what Pan's Garden is it's an area on Palm Beach. It's just around ½ an acre that very dedicated individuals have taken, and they've planted almost 100% native Florida species on this land. It's very, very beautiful. If you haven't been out there, I highly recommend it. This picture is pretty significant. I mean, you have a bunch of great looking kids there, I know. But we're standing in front of a pond apple tree. The significance of this is that it was one of Art Marshall's favorite trees, and it's one of John Marshall's favorite trees. It's one of the trees that you find in the historic Everglades, that you'll find out in the Everglades right now, and that we try planting to help restore the Everglades to what it is. Another important thing about Pan's Garden is that it serves as a great outdoor learning classroom for a lot of children. They can come out and see native plants and species. We have a monarch butterfly caterpillar right here. So it is a great learning opportunity. It brings such beauty to the area. And we were told there that some individuals who work on Palm Beach actually come and have their lunch there. I was pretty envious of that. Later on that week, we met with Alyssa Dodd and her team at the Palm Beach County Department of Environmental Resources Management. They told us a lot. One of their biggest challenges is getting people really involved in their projects. The one that you see here, this is the Lake Worth Lagoon project, which they're working on research and restoration, which is something that we all should be concerned about since Lake Worth Lagoon is, I don't know, maybe ½ a mile that way. It was really beautiful to see, and it was really interesting to hear about getting the Native community and getting all these individuals concerned about how to work for the environment and get involved in different volunteer projects. One of my personal favorite things about this week was getting to meet with Leah Shalhoub. Leah is actually a graduate of last year's summer intern program, and right after leaving the program, she was actually offered a job as a congressional aide with Congressman Ron Klein, and it was through her we were fortunate enough to attend an energy roundtable with him. We learned all about the energy bill that's currently trying to go through Congress that really pushes for cleaner, renewable energies for America. So it was really inspiring to get to meet with Leah and see an intern very successful and very happy just a year after the internship program, and feverishly hope that the future waited for, the same thing would happen for all 5 of us. I get really emotional thinking about it because I hope I have a job within a year. We rounded out this week nicely by having a field experience with Chris Lockhart. Chris does a lot of work with, she's a habitat specialist, she's an environmental consultant, and she does a lot of work with invasive and exotic species. So we got to go to Apoey Park and we learned about the different exotic and invasive species that she deals with. We got to do some scientific experiments and run what are they called? I'm not a scientist. Transects, thank you. See, we work as a team. It's really very good. And we got to see all the different plant species that are out there. And this was really good because Chris actually got to tell us a lot about her career and what she's done with her life. And this was good considering our next week is Career Week, which Caitlin's going to tell you about.
The primary purpose of Career Week was to show us what our mentors for this week do day to day. Now, although this week was designated for this specifically, the truth is we do this nearly every day and every time we meet with a mentor. That's another wonderful thing. I know we keep singing the praises of the Arthur Marshall Foundation Summer Internship, but it's so true. We were given the opportunity to meet with people like Bob Graham in an intimate setting where we can ask him whatever we want, and he can ask us whatever he wants. So Bob Graham provided us a lot of information on his decades of involvement with Everglades restoration and a really good insight into the behind the scenes of what really goes on. Also this week we went out to Torrey Island again and we helped plant some trees, and the primary purpose of planting the pond apple and the cypress trees in this particular tract of land is to help recreate the forest that was once there, the pond apple forest. And this particular planting was significant as an example of tiered mentoring, as we mentored high school students, who you can see in this picture younger than us, as well as having our mentors present to mentor everyone. So later in the week, an opportunity arose for us to go with a member of the Sierra Club out to Big Cypress, which is not a direct part of what you would consider the Everglades, the flowway, but it's actually a historic part of the Everglades. It's not a part of Everglades National Park. It's a preserve. So we went with Matt. His name was Matt, and this was the most beautiful part of the Everglades I've seen. This is actually a picture of the pond apple forest, very similar to the one that was south of Lake Okeechobee prior. So we were on our way out and we saw this Camaro stuck in the mud in one of the canals, and we thought, how silly. How could someone try to drive such a low-riding car in these dirt roads? Nancy, we've been a little bad. We kept a little secret from you. Nancy's SUV got stuck in the mud. And so it was the guy, what ended up happening is the guys who pulled out the Camaro, this guy's two large trucks, came along, and this is Ben. He got right down there, being a good sport, and started digging to find the connector thing for that. And John, looking under the hood, John just helped out.
Check your warranty. Check your warranty.
John and Ben are both in, they kind of have their male bond going on, and I think it's just a good participatory activity. So Nancy was actually out of town for this portion of time, and so John was cool enough to get it detailed. I don't think Nancy ever knew, did you?
Drive it in the ditch.
John didn't drive it in the ditch. That's a good point. So week 11, that's this week, we wrapped up on Tuesday with a Water Management District's presentation, which Ben will tell you about in just a second, valuing ecosystem services. And this is Josette, our rock star where is she? Josette right here, is a huge support.